Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak here with Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Haggai chapter 1, going into the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Let's get right into it. It's Haggai chapter 1. Right, so there's only 2 chapters in the book of Haggai. Right, so let's get right to it. Shalakia. Before we get into that, let's look at the header of this chapter, which says Haggai begins temple building. Right, not sure what that means, because Haggai was just a prophet, which extorted the people. Right, Salakia was exhorted. always get that mixed up. Exhorted the people, right? During that time, right? Now there's a link to this precept, Ezra 5:1, which reads, "Then the prophets Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, son of Edo, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, even unto them." Right. So let's look at the meaning of his name, because word Hag means to feast, but it also means right, compass, right, or to compass about, right, which is where the Arabs got the word Hajj, which is Hag in the Hebrew, which just means to circle about, to compass or compass, right? Which is why they go around the cobblestone, right? They call it the house of God, which, I mean, whatever. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't really read too much into that history, but from what I know, there was a sort of comet that fell, and it was constructed into what now is the cobblestone, right? But anyways, Haggai, or Aggeus, which is the Hebrew Haggai, was a Hebrew prophet during the building of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, and one of the 12 minor prophets in the Hebrew Bible, and the author of the book of Haggai. So it says down here, his name means my holidays, right? Which you could say that, but it could also mean my rejoicing, right, in a figurative sense, right? Or I compass about, right, which is what the Jews were doing. They went about to rebuild the temple, right? Just like Zechariah, right? His name meant the memorial of Yah, right? And you can find that the blue letter. I believe that's Proverbs 8. Not sure what happened. Proverbs. Chapter 8. Salakia, just bear with me. Here it is. Proverbs 8 and 27. When he prepared the heavens, I was there when he set a compass upon the face of the depth. Right? Which in the Hebrew is Paha Kayan Wa Shemayim Sham Anya Bahakwa Hawag Al Panya Thawam, which just reads basically in which time in which he prepared the heavens there was I, and in which he had decreed the compass upon the face of the deep. Right? That's what it means, compass. A circuit, vault, circle, sphere. Haggai 1 and 1. Actually, let's get the word for feast. Hag, solemn feast, sacrifice. A festival. So of the Passover, Isaiah 30:29, compared with the Arabic, which is Hajj, pilgrimage to Mecca. Or Haggai, to move in a circle, to observe a festival, to celebrate, dance. To dance, to keep a festival. Hajj, to go to Mecca, as Hajj or pilgrim, to keep the public festival. So it just means festival, right? Or compass. Let's go to the online etymology, see what we get from that. Festival. Festal day, appointed a festive celebration, short for festival day. Suitable for a feast, solemn, magnificent, joyful, happy. From medieval Latin festivalis, of a church holiday. From festum, festival, holiday. Right? Secular celebration with feasting and entertainment. Religious anniversary characterized by rejoicing. Religious festival, holy day, holiday. Let's look at a holiday. Holiday noun from the 1500s. Holy day, consecrated day, religious anniversary. Alright, so these are the holy days of Esau, right? Easter, right? Which are unholy. Christmas, Halloween. Let's look at that word, Halloween. it says also Halloween, Ain, Halloween, last night of October, the eve of All Saints' Day, is a popular holiday. 1781, in a Scottish context, a Scottish shortening of All Halloween, All Hallows Even, right? In Middle English, holy person saint, Haggai. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Madness. Haggai chapter 1 verse 1. In the year the second of Tiberius the king, in the month of 6, in the first day, came to pass the word of the Lord in the hand of Haggai the prophet to Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Jehozadak, the priest great, as in the high priest, to say, Bashanath Shathiam La Daryash Hamalak Bachadash Chashashia Bayawam Achad La Chadash Chaya Dabar Yahweh Bayad Hagia Hanabaya Al Zarbabal Ban Sha'al Sha'alath Ya'ala Pachath Yahawada Wa'al Yahawashai Ban Yahawatazadak Ha Kahan Ha Gadol La Abar, which got that word Sha'alath Ya'ala, which means inquiring unto God. Pachath meaning governor. Yahweh Tazadak meaning the Lord is righteous. Haggai 1 and 2, thus saith the Lord of hosts, to say, the people this have said, it is not the time to go in currently to the house of the Lord to build it. Ka amar Yahweh tazabawath la amar ha'aim haza amar wa la'a aitha ba'a Salakia. Aitha bayath Yahweh laha banath. So the people are they're not actually saying that, they're showing it by their actions, right? Maybe they were slacking during the time that Haggai came and went to exhort them, right, to lift up their spirits, right? Because there was many enemies round about during that time, right? Which you can compare to today. I mean, you got our own people coming up against this truth. You got scoffers, right? Everyone has something to say, right? Which they're not saying nothing really, right? It's just, these are all just distractions, right? So our job is to focus on the lesson at hand, right? So this is what Haggai was doing. He was exhorting the people, right? Giving them some positive words, right? Haggai chapter 1 and verse 3. And came to pass the word of the Lord in the hand of Haggai the prophet to say, Wa Yahaya dabar Yahweh bayad Hagia ha nabaya'ah la amar. Haggai chapter 1 and verse 4. Haggai chapter 1 and verse 4. Should you currently you dwell in your house, sealed up, and the house this be desolate, which really, right, this really just says currently is it unto you for you to dwell in your house, sealed or paneled, and the house this be desolate, right? So you have that word sap again, right? Which it means post, right? In other cases, it means a base of a thing, right? In this case, it means something that is posted, right? You post a sign, right? But it's another way to say like paneled, but you can just say posted, right? Because basically that's what it means, right? So the Lord is saying, is it time for you to currently is it unto you, or as in, is it time for you to currently dwell in your house paneled, and the house this be desolate, right? So it reads, Ha'itha lakam atham la shabath ba bathyakam sabnayim wa habayath haza harab. Right, harab just means sword, but it also means desolate or dry or parched. Right. Haggai 1 and 5. And now thus saith the Lord of hosts, place into your heart upon your ways, right? Or take heed into your ways. That's just another way of saying it. Wa'itha ka amar Yahweh tazabawath shayam wa labab kam al darak yakum. Haggai 1 and 6. You have sowed much, and it brought in a few. Thou eatest, and there is no satisfaction. Thou drinkest, and there is no reward. Right, as in you're not satiated, which that word for satiated is actually rawa. You clothe yourself, and there is no warmth. Right, because that word lacham is not bread. It doesn't mean bread. It means la meaning two or four, cham meaning warmth or heat. And unto you and he that earneth his hire unto a purse unto a purse with holes, right? As in he that earneth his hire is for a a purse, or you could just say bag. Just in today's general, and according to today's standard, right? Salakia. And he that earneth his hire is to a bag with holes, right, or pockets, right, which is what the King James Bible says. Salakia. Let's get that. Right, to put it in a bag with holes. Right. So it says Zaraitham Harabah Wahaba Mayat Salakia Ba'at Akol Wa'ayan La Shabaya Shatha Wa'ayan La Shakara Labash Wa'ayan Lacham Lawa Waha Masha Shatakar Ma Shatakar Al Tazarar Naquab. So you sow much and bring in little, you eat. Doesn't say you eat, it just says eat, and there is no satisfaction. Drink, there is no reward, as in satisfaction. Uh, clothe, clothing, and there is no warmth unto it. And he that getteth a higher, the higher, or the wages is to a bag with holes. So that's what it basically means, right? Because that word tazarar means something narrowed, right? Which is another way to say a bag. Naquab means to pierce, or to something that is hollowed out, right? Because that's what our people are focused on, right? The tangible things, the things of this world, right? Wanting to keep up with the Joneses, right? Have that have right, keeping up with the times, right? But they're not focused on the main thing, right? Which is, right, yeah, it's good to think about your future and what you're gonna do, right? But now is not the time for that. Now is the time to think about your health, right? And during these times that we're in, right, and get this word, right, and be in the faith, right? Because it's obvious, right? We are in different times. These are special times that we're in. This is not like in times past, right? This is not, the world is not all jolly and everything is good. Everything is not good, right? The store closings there, right? You got the nations being reprobates, right? Being more bugged out every time. 2/3 or more bugged out, right? These are not just, oh, it's just another year in Babylon, right? No, the Charagma is coming. The third woe is coming. World War III, great destruction, right? Now is not the time to be bullshit, right? Uh, so are people so much they bring in little, right? They're concerned with the right, with being seen, going out, right? They eat, they drink, but they're not filled because that true water, right, is this word, right? The meats, right? The milk, right? This is what really is gonna fill you, satisfy you, right? The clothing, which is synonymous with, right, what is spoken of in Matthew, in the book of Matthew. Let's get that, and then we'll get the book of Isaiah, right? Matthew chapter 22, 10. Verse 9, go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage, which is what we're doing. We're bidding to the marriage, right? Bringing through the word of the Lord those that receive this word into the understanding of what is going to happen, what you must do, right, to prepare for the great day of the Lord, right? So the servants went out into the highways and gathered together as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests, right? Like always say, right? You got those that are called and chosen, and then you got those that are called. They're going to ultimately fall out because they were never meant to be of that number. When I say the number, I'm not just talking about the 144,000. I'm talking about the great multitude as well, which compromises of the elect, which makes up the elect, right? So the bad and the good, right? The wheats and the tares, right? Because you got spies, you got infiltrators, right? You even got, believe it or not, other nations working for Esau, right? In this truth, right? In order to create more stumbling blocks for the hopeful elect, right? But the elect are not going to be deceived at the end of the day, right? And the wedding was furnished with guests, right? Every wedding, right, has a time that leads up into the wedding. You got the reception, you got the you prepare your invitations, right? They're sent to particular people, right? They're mailed out, right? Then you gotta go get your garment for that wedding, which the garment is the covering, is His word, right? Verse 11, and the king came in to see the guests. He saw there a man which had not a wedding garment, meaning that man did not receive the full understanding, right? He might have known he was an Israelite, but he might have stumbled upon the law, right, or upon Paul's writings. And then he just thought in his mind, well, he wasn't diligent. So he just said, oh, grace is going to save me, and I'm just going to stay a Christian or a Catholic. Right? It doesn't matter what the Yahushua looks like. I'm just gonna keep praying to white Jesus. Right? When that's not the completeness of the Lord's message. Right? Where he doesn't know the charagma. Why? Because he wasn't diligent. He didn't read for himself. We're not going to hand you every single thing and speed food it to you every single video we make. We're not going to touch on every single thing. You got to pick up these things as you're watching these videos, these sit downs, right? But you got other camps, right? Right? And even in notable camps, you got certain people that are they're just yapping away, right? They're just talking out their ass, right? There's no actual edification going out, right? Yeah, we talk about current events sometimes, right? But is there substance to your lesson, right? That's something you got to ask yourself. Am I doing the best that I can, right? When it comes to teaching, right? Matthew 22:12, and he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Right? For example, if you go out and teach, or you claim to have the truth, but you can't go into the breakdowns, right? Eventually, you're going to be sought out and found a liar, because somebody is going to challenge you, right? And you're not going to be able to answer it, right? And basically, that person is going to say on behalf of the Lord, you don't have a wedding garment. How are you a teacher? Right? And you're not going to be able to say a damn thing because you weren't diligent. So that's why it says, and he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot, and take him away, cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's talking about the destruction, right? The servants are basically the angels, right, which are going to commit that judgment in that day, right, to this individual that doesn't have his wedding garment, right? It's not just about, okay, I found out I'm an Israelite, and then I'm just going to be wicked, and then when the day of the Lord comes, I'm just going to call upon his name, and I'm going to be saved. Because one scripture says that. That's not what it's talking about, right? You have to be complete in this thing, right? Sincere. Be perfect as your Father is perfect. The word thamah, which is in the Hebrew, it means sincere, right? You can't fool the Lord, right? Have your fringes on every day, right? But you're sitting there, right? You're being wicked, right? So it says there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, right? Because that's what's going to happen, right? Bind him hand and foot, right? You're going to be bound by your sins, right? The Lord's going to put a reprobate spirit on you, right? You're going to be taken away from this truth, right? The next thing you know, right, you got a damn yarmulke in your hand, or a damn not a yarmulke, but you got a what do you call it? I meant to say like you got a piñata in your hand, and then you got your face is painted like a skull, and you're keeping the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, right? And in the same breath, you're saying Kwam Yasha Allah, right? Which that's off as hell, right? And you got a pork sandwich in your hand, right? With honey mustard, extra honey mustard in it, right? It's off, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 56. Salakia. Isaiah 55:1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Why do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight in itself in fatness. Right, which this goes directly with Isaiah chapter 6. Right. Let's get that. The Lord said, make the heart of these people fat. Right, is what this truth does. It gives you the fat. Particular fat has nutrients in it. Right, when you eat particular meat, right, the fat has nutrients in it. Right, which is good for your body. Right, let's look that up. Health benefits of beef. It says beef is high in protein and helps build muscle mass. Beef is extremely rich in minerals. Beef helps prevent iron deficiency anemia. Beef contains carnitin. Beef is full of vitamins. Beef contains natural creatine. Beef is very affordable. Benefits of beef fat. Not only does it help you absorb more nutrients from your food, but beef tallow is also rich in vitamins A, D, E, and K, and B1. Right? Saturated fats found in beef can actually reduce the risk of heart disease by lowering LDL cholesterol, and improving the ratio of HDL good cholesterol. Despite being a fat-consuming healthy sweat, or beef tallow stimulates the release of glucagon, the hormone that signals your body that it is time to burn fat. Beef contains the same type of healthy fat found in avocados and olive oil. Right? So this word is supposed to nourish you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right? Make their ears heavy. Right? We're supposed to be as loud as we can, not literally, although we can do that. Isaiah 58:1, but as loud as in, right, convey the message completely. Right? It says, and shut their eyes. Right? We got to keep getting on Jake. Right? So that they just, right, figuratively, right, they're gonna, in a figurative sense, they're gonna shut their eyes and be like, God damn, they keep right, getting on my nerves. Right? This is what we're doing in righteousness. Right? So that's part of being diligent in this word. Right? And that's how you compare it. Salakia. Compare it with what is spoken of in Isaiah 55:1 and on down. Right? So let's go back to the book of Haggai. Right. So right, you can compare that with verse 6 here, right, with the philosophies of this world, Jake. Right. Just like it says in the book of Genesis, right? Eat of the fruits, but not of the tree in the midst of the garden. Which the fruits is these various philosophies, right? Right, because there's so many other doctrines out there, right? Jake can only pick up a little bit of it, because it's not for him, right? And he's talking about actual food as well, right? Right, because Jake doesn't have the proper dietary instruction that is in the law, right? And the wisdom of the proverbs and dark sayings, right? Even in the book of Sirach, it says, "What? Do not be overly satiated on meats." Right, so there's a balance to everything, right? Let's see if we can get that. It said by much surfeiting, something to that extent. I don't know what the hell this is. Ecclesiasticus. Sirach 31:19. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetches not his wind short upon his bed. Right? So you get what is sufficient, right? Because if not, right, you're going to be overweight, you're going to be huffing and puffing, right? Verse 20. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth up early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with an unsatiable man. And if thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest. Right, because Jake is just right occupied with the meats, and right he's not occupied with he's occupied with getting the next Jordans, right? But you're not worried about what's going on, right, and how it's affecting you, right? And Jake doesn't know that as much as he tries to, right? Unless you sell out on a high level, right? Which is only meant for few of the Jakes, because Esau uses them to lure in other Jakes so that they sell out, but they're going to be destroyed. Because Esau doesn't want all these Jakes having money and status, right? So it's a trap, right? Which is why it says, and he who earns anything earns it for a leaky purse, because you're not going to make it in this society. You're not supposed to. Jake is not supposed to make it in this society, right? And if you do, then you're most likely being used as bait to bring in other Jakes, and then for them to get destroyed, right? Haggai chapter 1 and verse 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, place now into your heart upon your ways, ka amar Yahweh tazabawath shayamwa labab kam al darak yakam. Haggai 1 and 8. Ascend up unto the mountain, unto the mount, and bring thou in wood, and build unto the house, and I will accept, I will find favor upon it, and I will honor it, saith the Lord. Al Yawah Hahar Waha Ba'atham Aitaza Wa Banwa Habayath Wa'a Ratazah Bawa Wa'a Kabada Amar Yahweh. Haggai 1 and 8. Ye have turned unto much, and behold, there is little, or there is few, and thou bringest in, and thou hast brought it home, and I blew upon it. For so how, saith the Lord of hosts, for so on account of my house, which is desolate, and thou runnest a man to his own house. Pana al harabah wahana la ma'at waha pa'atham habayath wana pachathia. Meaning I blew upon, right? Because that word pach means to breathe, right? Pana means to turn. Bawa in it. Ya'an meaning on account of, or or you could just say, it just basically means because how, saith the Lord of hosts, on account of, right, for so, or on account of, or because, right, because, so it says, Ya'an ma na'am Yahweh tazabawath, Ya'an bayathia, because it says he blew upon it on account of, because how, saith the Lord of hosts, on the account of my house, which is desolate, Ashar Hawa Harab, thou runnest a man to his house, Wa Atham Ratazayim, Ayash La Bayathwa. Right, so Jake expects everything to be handed to him. He expects the kingdom to be handed to him. Jake in his world, right, expects him to believe on white Jesus and be saved. That's not what's gonna happen, right? The Lord is severe when it comes to obeying Him, right? So it says, when you brought it home, I blew on it, right? Because no matter what, right, whatever Jake makes, something always happens, right? There's always something, and that's part of the curses, right? Like it says in the book of Micah, this is not a rest, right? The Lord saying, how? You ask how? How is this happening? How is this possible? The Lord saying, because my house, which is desolate, meaning Jake is not paying attention to the important things, right? The Lord gave away, right? The Lord commanded to rebuild the second temple during that time, but this applies to today as well. Haggai, right? Many of the things that Haggai is saying applies to today. He was talking to the Jews back then, right? Because they were worried about those that were compassing about, right? Trying to stop the building of the temple during that time, right? Which is happening now in these days as well, right? Oh shit, I don't know what just happened. And Jake is just worrying about Jake. He's not grieved for the affliction of his people, right? He just wants to get his, and that's it. That's the mindset of a lot of people. But you got to keep in mind, right, as a collective, right, when you speak out, right, there's strength in that, but our strength is not supposed to be in this time, right? We're supposed to be, we're in perilous times. We're in times where we have no strength, no might, but the Lord is going to find a way for us somehow, right? Haggai 1 and 10. Upon you have been withheld in the heavens the dew, and the earth has shut in its increase. The earth has shut in its increase. Which that's not the word for increase, but that's just another way to say it. Because that word yabal just means to flow, right? Matal means dew, right? So it says al yakam kala'awa, meaning to restrain or to shut in. Shemayim matal waha rataza kala'a yabala, right? See how many more verses we got left. Alright, con. Haggai 1 and 10. So let's look at that word. blue letter. Haggai 1 and 10. Strong's H3607, to close, to shut up, to restrain, to hold in. Right? Yabawal or Yabal, crop, fruit, increase, produce. The word for produce is nawab, right? Which that word means to hollow out, right? Which is what you do when you pick a crop. You pluck it up out of its root, and right. So this just means this is just another way to say increase, right? Because the word for increase is actually tabawa'a. The word yabal just means to flow. Right, yabal, to flow, to bring forth. To produce. Haggai 1 and 11, and I called it dearth upon the land and upon the mountains and upon the grain and upon the new wine and upon the oil and upon which that came out from the earth and upon man and upon beast and upon all of your the toil of your hands. Wa aqwara'a harab al ha'rataza wa al ha'haryam wa al ha'dagan, which means grain, wa al ha'thayarash, meaning new wine, wa al hayatazahar, meaning oil, wa al ashar thatazaya'a ha'adama, upon that which came out from the ground, wa al ha'adam, right, which coming from the ground. For example, trees come from the ground, and that's how you make shelter, right, and things of that sort. Doesn't necessarily mean fruits or plants. Wa'al ha'adam, and upon man, wa'al and ha-bahama, wa'al and upon beast, wa'al call yagayai, copium, meaning and upon all. That word yagyai means fervent toil, right? Or toil of your hands, or palms. This is what it says: palms. Copium. Cop is palm. Haggai chapter 1, verse 12. And he heard Zerubbabel the son of Shaltiel, and Joshua the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and all of the remnant of the people, and the voice of the Lord their power, and upon the words of Haggai the prophet, according to which he had sent out the Lord their God. And they feared him, the people, from before the Lord. Right? Wayashamai Zarbabal Ban Shalath Ya'ala Wayahabushai Ban Yahabutazadak HaKahan HaGadal Wakal Sha'ar Yath, meaning the remnant, Ha'aim Bakwal Yahawah Alahayaham Wa'al Dabarya Hagia Hanabaya Ka Ashar Shalachwa Yahawah Alahayaham Waya Yara'awa Ha'aim Mapanya Yahawah. Right? Which is talking about back then, right? They hearken unto the Lord, right? In the words of the prophet Haggai. This is what we're telling our people today, in a sense, right? Because Zerubbabel, right, just means scattered in Babylon, right? Right, there was a high priest named Joshua back then, but we have a high priest today, Yahushai, after the order of Melchizedek, right? And there's a remnant, just like it says here, right? And ultimately, the remnant are going to hear into the voice of the Lord, right? They're going to hearken, they're going to fear, right? Not just what Haggai is saying, right? But what we're saying through the spirit of the former prophets, meaning we're expounding on the word, right? That is the spirit of the former prophets, right? So they don't actually have to be here, although they are, right? They're here somewhere. In the regeneration, some of them are in the spirit world, some of the 144,000, right? But they're going to come back in the chariots, right? Let's look at that precept, right? Salakia, spirit of the former prophets. Salakia. See if I can just look it up here. Always have trouble finding this precept. Former prophets. Salakia, I don't know what the hell's going on. The spirit of the former prophets. And the spirit of the former prophets. Zechariah 7 and 12. This is from the NLT. They made their hearts as hard as stone, so they could not hear the instructions or the messages that the Lord of Heaven's armies has sent them by his Spirit through the earlier prophets. That's why the Lord of Heaven's armies was so angry with him. Right? Because the Spirit of the Lord is the Rakak Wadash, right? Which is the Spirit of truth, right? You have the spirit of error, you have the spirit of truth, right? Which backs up what the former prophets were saying, because the former prophets is the word, right? The visions recorded, the things that they spoke, which is the volume of the book. All these things go hand in hand, right? Right, the spirit of the Lord, the spirit of the former prophets, right, or the former prophets, that's the same thing. They both agree. Haggai 1 and 13. And he said, Haggai, the messenger of the Lord, right, in his convoy, or right, or in his message, on behalf of the Lord unto the people to say, I am with thee, saith the Lord. Why Amar Haggai Mala'aka Yahweh Ba Mala'akath Yahweh La'im La'amar Anya Atakam Na'am Yahweh. Verse 14. And he stirred up the Lord into the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judah, into the spirit of Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and to the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they entered, and they did so, and they did so the labor, or Salakia, and they did so the business in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God, right? Business or labor, that's what Malaka means, right? Waya'ar, meaning awar is the root to stir up. Yahweh atha rakah zarbabal ban shalath ya'ala pachat Yahawada wa atha rakah Yahawashai ban Yahawatazadak ha kahan ha gadol wa atha rakah kol sha'aryath ha'aim waya ba'awa waya aisha waya ashwa Mala'aka Babayath Yahweh Tazabawath Al-Hayaham. Verse 15. In the day 20th and 4th unto the month 6th in the year 2nd unto Darius the king. By Yawam Asharium wa Arabaya la Chadash Bashashia Bashanath Shathium La Daryash Hamalak. Right? So with that is Haggai chapter 1. Going into the Hebrew. It's by the Atazdak Hero Israel. And as always, Lord willing, you were edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Habrakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abad Babal, and Shalom.